Now, Israel ramping up pressure on Hamas ahead of crucial talks in Egypt today. In the last few hours, Israel's military saying it's taken control of the Palestinian side of the Rafah crossing. At the moment, it is now closed. That after it carried out new airstrikes as well on Rafah overnight. It comes after late yesterday afternoon. Hamas agreed to the latest ceasefire proposal, but Israel said the deal still does not meet its core demands and it's still planning to push ahead with an assault on Rafah. Despite the hopes then of a deal, for now, that violence continuing. Well, France 24's Shirli Sitbon is joining me here on set. Shirli, first of all, just give us a bit of an idea about the different positions, can you, between the two sides in these talks?
Yes, there are almost two different deals because the Egyptians say they started working on the deal accepted by the Israelis, made some mild modifications, and then gave this to Hamas, and Hamas accepted. But the Israelis are saying, no, the deals are very different. What's the difference? Well, for example, in the first phase, 33 Israeli hostages are supposed to be released. In the Israeli deal, well, the deal Israel accepted, they would be alive, living hostages. But in the deal Hamas accepted, they could be dead or alive. Just 33 Israeli hostages. That's what's on the paper. Another difference is the pace of their release. For example, well, the Israelis said we accept 3 hostages every 3 days, which means this will last. The first phase of this process will last 33 days. And it will continue after that. Hamas says no, not 3 every 3 days, but 3 per week, which makes it longer. And also among those differences, well, the Israelis say they're not pulling their troops out at the end of this process. The deal Hamas got, the U.S. and Qatar said they guarantee the war will be over at the end of the process. So yes, the Israelis want to work on this a bit more. And of course, the Hamas agreement came at a strategic time as Israel was launching its offensive, its ground offensive. So yes, that's basically the differences, some of the main differences pointed out to the Israelis today, which make all the major headlines to explain to the Israelis why the government blocked this.
I mean, it sounds, as you say, the negotiations are still coming down to a very fine wire and there's still a lot to negotiate. And in the meantime, Israel seems to be sort of continuing at least the potential beginnings of some kind of assault on Rafah with airstrikes overnight and also taking over the Rafah crossing.
Exactly. The Israelis say this is a limited operation, a limited ground offensive in the eastern south. Just one division getting in, showing some footage of this. Our correspondent on the ground says, well, this is not limited. I'm in the west, he said, and we're being bombed, we're bombarded and very massively, so it's pretty widespread. But the Israelis hoping to show that they're showing some kind of restraint, maybe just while talks continue, while they send a delegation to Cairo to continue talking about this. But this is a terrible bet because they could push Hamas to the other side. They can, there obviously could be many casualties in the Gaza Strip, which everybody fears. And actually, yes, hopes in Gaza were crushed, and people are devastated when they saw that. They thought there would be a deal when Hamas said yes, and then they realized that the operation had begun. The Israelis saying this is not the offensive we talked about. This is just a limited one.
Shirli, thanks very much. France 24's Shirli Sitbon there.